I commend Julie because if you want afterwards, I'll show you what all the other clubs in the area pay. It's more than we pay.
Yeah.
All right, I have it in here when this broke down. Julie actually did it, but she didn't want to put that on the board tonight. She wanted to show you logical reasons why we need a club dues increase. And I think she did a really good job.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. I think we're fine.
I don't want to see them. What happens with you just look at.
I think it's simple. Raise the dues or cash bar.
Well, make a
It's
motion.
easy.
Better raise the dues. Take that bump away from that man.
Find a policeman to police somebody
There you
collecting
go.
the money. Who wants to be the bartender?
Nobody.
Who wants to collect for guests at club meetings?
Nobody.
Everybody sat there and said, "What? We can't. We don't police guests. I don't want to. That's not what our club's about. We want people to come. If I don't have the confidence to walk up to somebody and say, you've been freeloading for about 5 months. You got to join up. $75, not a lot of money. That's what we do because we're family." And I don't expect anything different, even though it may cost you $25 more a year.
Hey, Julie, we've proved it at the racetrack. You can't shame a moocher.
You can't. I've got some of them to talk to after the meeting. That's
The way the bylaws are, you need 2/3 of the
voting
membership.
membership.
Voting
Correct.
or members?
The voting. Well, remember,
So if 100
Lee
people
and
vote,
his
you need
wife.
2/3 of 100?
Lee and his wife are members. Lee holds one vote.
Okay, but
So
that's what I'm
a
saying.
family holds one
It's
vote.
the membership on the directory,
roster.
not the people who cast votes.
Correct.
So that's going to be, I don't think you're going
2/3
to have a
of
problem here.
259.
Yeah, that's your problem. We got to.
Now you know my second reason for
On
taking the
getting the
meeting.
people that aren't here.
I will be putting that out on the website.
There's an awful lot of people that can vote no just by not voting.
Correct.
You gotta have 2/3 of 250 votes say yes.
Correct.
And you can have an awful lot of people that abstained and it doesn't go anywhere. And that's gonna be the real challenge.
Correct. May or may not make
I
it.
think you hit the nail on the head, Terry.
So my step is that I will send an email out to the club.
Do we need a motion, by the way?
We will make a motion in just a minute.
Is there anybody from
Or I will
Chicago?
accept
They
the
could
motion.
probably
I'm
get
not
it.
making any motion. But I will tell you that I will send an email out to the club. I have asked Steve to take this for 2 reasons. One, we have no secretary. But I'd also like the discussion and all the slides and points like that to be available. As those of you know who've ever seen a presentation without a whole lot of discussion, it means nothing. And people can easily not watch it and ignore it. I would like to direct everyone to watch the video, to listen to everybody's questions, and then I would like you guys to talk about the fact that you were here, you heard it, you understand it, and that no matter what, it makes sense. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. We go another year. I just hope that it's not a year that we end up having to borrow money. So, I'm not saying we will, because right now, please understand, we budgeted money to go into the capital fund every year. We donate money to the juniors. We do that because that's what we as a board and a club decided we want to do, and we don't want to stop that. So that's where we end up with the numbers that we break even at the end of the year. We invest in the juniors, we invest in GSEF, and we invest in a capital fund. We're not going to stop that. We just would like to make that cushion a little bit bigger and be able to provide more for you guys. So, Michael.
I'm strictly against raise of the fees, and I don't see the reason for that, because I don't see what you want to change in the from yet to then. And like I said, comparing it to last year's board, that put a lot of money into renovating this room, and has enough money over to put it in GSEF, to put it into the capital funds, and there was no missing point. And this year there will be no missing point. And I'm just not clear about the point why I, with a member and a spouse, have to pay almost 100% more for the same thing. Oh no, it's not the same thing. The club don't pay for the food, for example, for the social meeting, we bring it by ourselves. We pay 100% more for less. That sounds not logic, at least for me.
Right, I understand that you feel that way, and we looked at it more as like an insurance, like building a savings account in case we have any trouble in the future. I try and have a savings account in case of an emergency. The other thing is we're hoping you're not getting less. We're not providing food because honestly the club never provided food until 3 years ago. Then we started providing food, and we found out our club meetings cost us almost $5,000 a year, that they didn't really have to cost us. We did great under a potluck format before. We're doing great under a potluck format now. We end up with more different kinds of food than we had before, and we don't have to cause the second rear Commodore to not only work hard to schlep 12 cases of beer down the dock and sodas and water, they also had to organize a caterer. They also have to put the food on the table, and we spend that kind of money. So we've decided on our board year that we weren't going to do that. We were going to put the money in education. We were going to put the money into upgrading some of the things that we have. We were going to reinvest in the club. We didn't spend money on decorations. We actually just used these leftover flags from the flag set that we put in the racing collection. So yes, we've upgraded the club room, but we didn't invest in it. We just did what we could do in the leftover things that we had. So this, for me, I think of it as insurance. It's not necessarily that I think of you paying more for less. I think of it as paying a fair share for the events that are provided. We're charging you less for events. We're not charging you huge door fees or meal fees. We could charge you $17.50 for a meal that we had at the beach party. But we didn't. We charged you $5 because our goal was not to make money, it was to break even. So that was our goal. And we did that, and we reduced the fees. Hopefully next year maybe we can charge you nothing, because we actually have the ability to do that. That is next year's board's job, not mine, but that's what we're trying to set up for. So, hold on one second. Van had a question behind you.
Yeah, I think you've done a wonderful job presenting the information in a kind of holistic way. You know, I have disagreements in little ways over what you do in terms of the meals and all the rest. But I think you're asking a really small increase for a really big opportunity for the club. And, you know, I have no problem, and I really support a small increase in our dues to provide more resources for what we do. So that's
Absolutely. I'm behind it.
And then I'm going to get to Michael.
Let's look at this in the past, $75 a year. Break that down into 12 months, because we showed up one weekend every month, right? So how much does that work out to?
Cheap. Real cheap.
$6. Okay. Where else can you go for $6 and have food and all the beer and wine you want to drink?
As I mentioned,
Cheap.
someone
Real
complained
cheap.
about a couple being a little bit higher. I said, "Oh my God, your wife could drink more than that."
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about 135 for two people. So that breaks down to what? 12 months.
That's about $10 a month.
Cheap. Real cheap.
Honey, let's come here every weekend for $10, okay?
I thought we did.
We can't.
And you have a very nice gold bilge pump now. So
Oh yeah.
Right?
And I'm gonna have this thing,
I'm gonna go to Joey's
I'm
store.
scared. All right, I gotta go back. Michael had a question over here.
You're an hour and 23 in the minutes
Okay,
into it.
we're gonna be finished up here in just a minute on discussion. There'll have to be a motion on the floor. Michael Wilson also had a question in the back.
We have 6.75.
Yeah, I need a water out of there.
When we are so cheap and so good, why we don't have more members?
I don't know. I can't really say that. It could be our.
Scott hasn't got
It
that
could be
PR
our
going.
website, it could be our members talking us up, it could be going,
Sailor
that's
water.
right, it's Scott's job. to make it
Probably
happen in
because
Main
we're not
Street.
charging enough.
Right?
I don't think it's because we're
Miller
not
Lite
charging
water.
enough.
Because some people will come because you charge more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on, Michael Wilson had a question back there.
No problem. Did I cut you off?
I do think
No,
there's a perceived
you
value
didn't.
attached to
You
it.
don't know where I'm getting it from.
But really, from my perspective, I think Ben summed it up perfectly. This is a common sense thing. When we end up with a surplus in 3 years, there's going to be a group of people looking out for our best interests, so we can keep doing this every year at a reasonable cost. It's just as easy to adjust or have more surplus. This isn't a make or break deal, gang. This is something where we need to rally the club members, make sure people show up to vote, so that we can protect a really neat thing, something that I think is really special to all of us.
To that point, I will let you know
the details.
last year's board did make a decision to lower banquet fees because they did have an excess at the end of last year. That's what your board does. It's gonna give it back to you one way or the other if there is a surplus. So just understand that. We will shorten what we pay to the juniors, and we will shorten what we're doing in the capital fund. We prefer not to do that because it is a smart decision to do those
Yeah,
things.
I feel like we're looking at it the wrong way by looking at we're spending more money. We're really throwing an extra $50 in our own savings accounts.
A little bit.
Continue to enjoy this.
A little bit. Sonny, what was your question? I'll get to
Mine
your.
was just a confusion about the comment about the votes.
Okay.
there's only one vote per, let's say, a couple.
Correct.
But there's a requirement of 2/3 of every single individual member. Doesn't that seem like the math? Let's say if you,
2/3 of the voting membership. So
Of
we
the
have currently
voting.
250 members. We'll need 2/3 times 250 in order to pass this motion.
but not all 250 are voting members, correct?
The voting members are not, well, I picked 250 just because it's our total membership number. Whatever the true voting number is,
Oh,
whether
okay,
it's
okay, you got it.
235,
Okay.
I don't know.
The math just didn't add up, because I said if you had to have 2/3
Correct,
of the
that actually
total,
had the ability
that
to
wouldn't
vote.
work.
Then I misunderstood what you said.
Yeah,
I
I
thought it
chose
had
the
to be
big number
2/3
just
of
because it was
the
easy.
total membership.
Nope, it is voting membership.
So if 4 people show up to vote, please say yes and pass.
We do have the ability for email vote, yes, in that scenario, yes. We do have the ability to take email votes, and that's where this will go out. You can either vote via email or vote in the October club meeting.
Do we have any ability to rig
Can
it?
you clarify when the $100 applies and the $135 applies?
Sure, it will go out in your membership dues notice. So, for example, we brought up and discussed at the board meeting, Lee came in, and by the way, anybody can come to a board meeting anytime you want. You can get a copy of the board meeting minutes anytime you want. Lee chose to come to the board meeting, and I brought him up as an example. I said, Lee is a married person, but he has a non-participating spouse. She doesn't come here, so he should pay as a single. He should not pay as a couple or a family. So that being said, and Greg tried to get in on that one. I said, that is just way wrong. But I will tell you that will go out. We do send a membership dues notice on November 1st. It will go out under the new rates if this passes at the October membership meeting. So based on email votes brought in to date, plus participation at the October board meeting, and we will try and put out and have as many people come to the meeting as possible in order to record their vote in person.
Can we watch Captain Ron again?
We are the kind, like I said, we don't police people at visitors and clubs like that. We're not going to police that. If Kathy is a non-participating member and you decide that, we will accept what you submit.
Kind of blew it by bringing her.
From now on, just make her stay. Why do you think Chris is in here? He's a total participating member.
I can see a lot of divorces in the club.
So can I put a motion on the floor?
You can put a motion on the floor.
Adjourn the mirror?
No, you can't put a motion on the floor. You can put a motion on the floor to end the discussion if you'd like. There's a motion on the floor to end the discussion. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second from the front here. And now what I will do is we will send out notice of the pending vote to the membership at large. We will put a copy of the meeting out on the website in the secure section. I would ask that you, if anybody has any questions or concerns, please direct them to watch that. I know it's long. They can fast forward through parts they don't like, me, and then just get to the question part so that they understand kind of where we're going with this. And if they have any additional questions, or anybody does, please feel free to call me. I'll give you copies of the backup. I can give you the board meeting minutes as soon as I get them from Teresa. You will see the discussion that happened at the board level, and we'll be glad to share that with you as well. Okay? I do have bad news that I don't have a slate. Normally you would get an introduction of the 2013 slate tonight, and then we would vote on that at the October meeting. We've had, unfortunately, a little bit of a downfall in our nominating committee, trying to pull together board members for next year. As soon as I get a slate, I will introduce that to you guys via email. I will try and bring that in. That will also be voted at the October meeting if we have enough lead time in order to put that vote in place. Otherwise, we may have to adopt alternate means. So I've got to look into what those are. Normally, this doesn't happen. So it is something a little bit out of the norm. But I will get something to you guys as a membership as soon as I can. Does anybody have any additional questions or any other new business tonight? Excellent job.
Thank you, Julie.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Harvest Moon, I know quite a few skippers down there, and
Dude.
If anybody needs a ride, you could reach out to me, and I'll be happy to network with you.
Okay, so if you guys don't know Tony, please know Tony's made that offer, and again, you can pick up his email address or phone tonight. I will also write the website up here. It's gbca.org. You can get on that core list, and you can do single or multiple, and they'll get you on a vote as well. All right. Anything else on the floor? Is there a motion on the floor? Steve?
I move that we adjourn.
There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. There's a second. All right, guys, good night.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.